When I come to a lake like I have done today, I like to try and keep things really, really simple. From the minute I got here this morning, I found some fish straight away by using a ready tied rig. It's very similar to something I tie myself. It's a crank hook with a knotless knot, straight out of the packet. I've put a gooed up hook bait on and I've cast out. And I know for a fact that should a carp come along, the rig's effective, they love a bright hook bait, it's game on. From the minute I started fishing this morning, I knew that I was on fish. I'd seen plenty of fizzing, which is what made me set up where I started. But after half an hour of literally no activity, no liners, no nothing, I had a little wander and very, very quickly found a large amount of fish on the surface, sort of 30 yards away from where I was, not far. Made a quick move and changed approach as well. There were so many on the surface that it felt having rods on the bottom probably wasn't the way to go. But I've moved around to this side of the lake, had half an hour to swim early this morning and nothing happened, and I saw a lot of fish milling around on the surface. Now, first thing I did was actually flick a lead out, and because it was relatively shallow, feels maybe 4 to 5 foot deep, the fish look like they're sitting about a foot under the surface, so I've flicked 2 rods out on the bottom. However, I've been here now for 30 minutes, 45 minutes with rods in the water, and nothing's happened, so I am just getting a little zig ready. I'll be honest, it's not my preferred way of catching carp, but this time of year it really can come into its own. I've just got one of the ready tied zigs out of the box, one of the 6 foot ones. I've cut it down to about 4.5 foot where I think it's going to be just under the surface. And when you add a little bit of goo on it as well, it just gives it that little bit of attraction in the water. Hopefully something they can't resist. Now, like most of you watching this, I absolutely hate blanking. It's not something I enjoy and it's not something I want to do. So even though the zigs were put out, I was already looking at the next option, and that included baiting up a few little likely looking areas in the edge. I kept checking the spots I'd baited, and one of them, when I went back to it, I could actually see the water was cloudy and I could see a couple of fish sitting in the upper layers, and it looked like they'd been down, chowing down, and were just having a nice little chew. Well, to be fair, once they drifted off, that's all the invitation I needed, and very quickly lowered a rig into position. Right, I mentioned there were quite a few fish milling around. I've got a zig out in the sort of main lake, if you like, because there's so many carp on the surface, but I also baited down in the edge. As you can see, I've got one rod laying down here, no bite alarms. This is far more exciting listening to the clutch go. But just out the back of the shot, there's 2 fish that you can see. The one nearest to me just keeps dropping down on the spot. I've put a few chops out, a few sort of bit of cell, bit of a new test bait, and I've got a hook bait that's been prepared in buttercorn goo. So, you know, the plan is the bait draws them in, and as they drop down, the goodness and the taste and the attraction of the goo just gets you that quicker bite. Well, there we go. As I said, it can happen as quickly as that. He's been sat there for the last 5 minutes, him and his mate, troughing. They were so close to the spot, I just felt like it had to go. This time of year is really, really key. I mean, they do start to come in the edge. They're starting to move around after their winter slumber. And if you can just have some bait in that area and they come across it, they're going to eat it. He's got a lovely big pair of shoulders, this fish. Whoa, he's woke up now. Do a bit of water skiing with that. Enjoy this bit, don't try and bully him in. If they want to swim away from you, let them swim away from you. There's virtually no stretch in the line now, so if you're not prepared for it with either the clutch or back wind, you do something slightly wrong by trying to give it too much pressure and you pull the hook out. Especially somewhere like here, it's barbless hooks as well, so it's important that you keep the tight line. Oh, look at him. He's an absolute banger. I know I probably look like a bit of a clown having my glasses over the top of my glasses, but there's 2 reasons. One, I can't bear the thought of contact lenses. The thought of touching my eyeball just scares me. But secondly, again, this time of year, the fish really start to move about and come up in the water, and without these, I might not have seen those fish this morning. In fact, I wouldn't, because I took the glasses off just for a comparison, and because you know they're there, you can see them, but without it, it just makes it that much trickier. This is an absolute corker. Please go in the net, please go in the net. Yes! Happy days, it's 11 o'clock in the morning. We've got one, chance of some more. 22.12. Get in. I'll be honest, you come to a lot of day ticket venues and you're never really sure what you're going to catch. I don't know the stock of the lake at all, but when this absolutely amazing scaly mirror popped up at over 20 pound as well, blown away to be honest, just really wasn't expecting it. Oh, well, what about that for an absolute stunner? It's a mainline peaches and cream wafter, trimmed down, placed in the air, just been prepared for about 3 weeks in the buttercorn goo, lovingly placed on a crank ready tied rig, and that is a proper result. Happy days. Now here's the important part of any session. Some people are very happy with catching one fish, but I'm always looking for the next bite. Greed is good, as they say. And very quickly the area looked devoid of carp. So once again, had another quick wander further around the lake, and it felt like I was chasing them away. By catching that fish, it seemed like it had moved the shoal off, but I come to another area and probably saw 80 fish on the surface. Well, after I've had that fish around there, it's all gone a little bit quiet. I'm not seeing so much movement, so I've come for a quick wander with my bag of bait, and I've been met with carp soup. Now they're coming right in close, and as I caught that last one out of the edge, I'm going to just sprinkle a little bit of bait along here and then get on my kit, just lower 2 rods right in the edge. Once again, the move has paid off. Just lowering rigs in the edge, handful of bait, plenty of crumb to draw them in. But that bright, high attract hook bait, it's just nailed one almost straight away. You don't feel as big as the first one, that's for sure. Key here is to try and land it with minimal disturbance. There's so many fish still in the area. If you can get it in the net without spooking the others, there's every chance of another bite. So I'm not going to beef him in. I'm going to try and get him in the net, almost without him even knowing. It's the buttercorn again, the little bottom bait. There we go. Happy days. Another lovely carp falling foul to the same tactics as before. A gooed up hook bait in the right place, right in the edge over a bed of mainline's finest. Just too much for him to resist. But you know the most important lesson? If you see fish somewhere else, don't be afraid to move. I've moved twice today to keep on top of the carp. That's exactly what's happened. I could have sat where I was all day and perhaps not had a bite. Don't be afraid to move. Don't be lazy.